Hello students. Hopefully this will be helpful. If not, you know you can always FaceTime me, email me, text me, whatever. But hopefully this will help. So lesson 8.5 is factoring simple quadratics. Those are things in that form, x squared plus bx plus c. It's called simple because there is no coefficient in front of this x squared, and it's a quadratic, remember, because quadratic is just anything that has the highest degree of 2. So I want you to look at these first little ones. For this lesson we are doing the opposite of foiling. So you guys remember last week, first, outer, inner, last would get us this trinomial. Well, today we're going from the trinomial back to the factored form. So I want you to look at these, and hopefully you can see a pattern here with these numbers. 3 and 5, they add up to 8. And 3 and 5 multiply to 15. You'll see this pattern throughout all of this. 6 and 2 add up to the middle term 8 and multiply to get the last term 12. Same with x plus 5 and x plus 6. 5 and 6 add to 11 and multiply to get 30. Now things get a little tricky as we deal with negatives, but I think you can do this. It'll be great. So here are some steps for you. You're going to start by splitting up the first term. So you'll take this x squared or m squared or whatever it happens to be and split it up into the parentheses. So x squared means x times x, so we're going to put that at the front of each set of parentheses. Then we're going to find all factors of c. So all factors of this last term. Maybe it's 5 times 4, maybe it's 2 times 10, maybe it's 20 times 1. We could also have all of those in negatives, right? Because negative 4 times negative 5 would also be a positive 20. So we want to consider that. After we think of all of the things that can multiply to get this last term, we want to pick the term or the pair of factors that would add up to 9. And that happened to be 4 and 5. So when we're asked to factor a trinomial or a quadratic, we take this trinomial and we factor it down into x plus 4 and x plus 5. You can always FOIL that back out to make sure that you would get that trinomial, okay? So taking a look at example 2, if I think of all the things that could multiply to get 24, I've got a long list. I'm dealing with 8s and 3s, 6s and 4s, 2s and 12s, 24 and 1. We know the signs are going to be the same because it's making a positive number when multiplied together. So that could be positive 8 and 3. It could be negative 8, negative 3. Lots of different options there. But we've got to add up to a negative 14. So I'm going to pick negative 12 and negative 2. Those multiply together to get a positive 24 and add together to get a negative 14. Hopefully making sense. Again, you can FOIL it out to see if you get that original trinomial. Down here, when we have a negative in the back here, so a negative 16, we know that we need two numbers, one that's positive and one that's negative. So all the factors of 16, we could do 4 and 4, 1 positive, 1 negative, 8 and 2. Maybe it's a negative 8, positive 2. We just don't know yet until we look at this middle term. So thinking about two numbers that multiply to get negative 16 and add to get 6. Positive 8, negative 2. 8 times negative 2 is negative 16. 8 plus a negative 2, or 8 minus 2, is 6. Okay, and then let's add some more letters in just to make it tricky. We're going to break our first term apart, x and x. And then thinking about things that have different signs that would multiply to get 27. I don't really have to worry too much about this y squared. I'm just going to know that I need a y here and a y there so that I can get the y squared. And then just worry about what are factors of negative 27 that would add to negative 6. So after I think about that for a minute, I can determine that negative 9 times 3 is negative 27, and negative 9 plus 3 gives me that middle term of a negative 6. Hopefully that helps.